Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ. I'm coming back with another week of the GOT. This is week 2, and let's hop right on into it. We are going up against Napey, I think is how it's said. I don't think it's pronounced Nappy, but please correct me, dude. If I'm wrong, I apologize. He's got a really scary roster. I'll read it off to you guys right now. He has Victini, Thunderous Eye, Ferrothorn, Mega Altaria, Slowbro, Mandibuzz, Gliscor, Mismagius, and that's it. I'm used to reading off 10 or 11 Mons on a roster. But of course, this tournament only has 8 Pokemon per team. So yes, as you can see, he has elected not to bring the Ferrothorn or the Mandibuzz. And so, I'll do a quick recap of my team, but we do play again in 2 weeks, and so a lot of the sets were not revealed, and I'd like to keep it that way. But starting off, we do have Nidoqueen, which has Stealth Rock, and that's about the only move that are revealed. I do have an ICMZ Kyurem, which is really nice. It's packing the Freeze Shock Sub-Zero Slammer, which does tremendous damage to just about everything on the team. Even defensive Slowbro takes 40% from it, which is quite nice. It's also packing Fusion Bolt and Ice Beam. Then we have a Thundurus, which technically its item wasn't revealed, but I think it's fairly obvious from the way that I played it that it's Scarf. The only move that I revealed was Hidden Power Ice, but you can probably make some guesses as to what other coverage moves I have. Next, I have a Swords Dance Scolipede, and this thing is really threatening versus his team. If I get to +2 and everything is at about 75-80% or less, I do clean his team, assuming I don't miss any moves like Aqua Tail, which I am packing on the team, or on the Gliscor. Sorry, packing on my Scolipede for the Gliscor. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, Scolipede's really potent this week. I have an Empoleon set, which is pretty cool, but the only move that I showed was Knockoff, so we'll keep that one in the bag for later. And then I do have a dual screen Spukumuku, and the main objective of that is to set up for my Scolipede. Get up to +2, try and tank a hit from like Mismagius or Thundurus or Gliscor, something that isn't going to do a lot of damage to us. And yeah, so that's the team. In terms of lead matchup, I don't want to lead something like Nidoqueen that's going to get murked by Victini. So I decided I'm going to lead my Thundurus because I can potentially Volt Switch on that or do some damage. I didn't actually reveal Volt Switch, but surprise, it's a Scarf set, so I have Volt Switch. So we do lead off with that, and he leads off with his Gliscor. Now, I don't think he's really going to be staying in, but I'm not brave enough to click my electric move, so I do just go for the Hidden Power Ice anyway. And it brings in his Mismagius. This seems like a good opportunity for me to get out my rocks. But he does go for the Shadow Ball, and he reveals to be Life Orb. So this is kind of scary because, yes, I have things that can revenge this, but I don't have anything that can take a hit from it. I sort of just have to pivot around until something dies, basically. And then I can go into like Scolipede to revenge it, or potentially Thundurus. But I do not want Nidoqueen to be that Pokemon that gets sacked, because rocks are too important this game. Just to wear down Victini, Thundurus, Gliscor, just everything. Getting 25% off on Altaria before it Mega Evolves is just going to be too good. So I'm going to go into my Empoleon because it's not going to be doing anything this game. And I do go into that, take the Shadow Ball. My EV spread will allow me to most likely not be too KO'd by it. And we do go for a knockoff. And we do live, which is nice, and we're able to kill this Mismagius. So big threat gone. Again, could have revenged it if my Empoleon went down, but happy to just let it die. And now he brings in Victini and goes for Bolt Strike. So now this is kind of a tricky spot here because I don't have anything that can outspeed and Oko this thing from full. I don't have EQ on Scolipede, and like a Dark Pulse from Thundurus is not going to be enough to one-shot a standard Victini. But I'm going to go into Thundurus anyway, I guess on the off chance that he's Scarf, because he did not reveal any item. So it's possible that he's Scarfed, and if he's banded, which is also very possible because Victini with the Choice Band is one of the best wall breakers in the game, obviously. So if I go into Thundurus, he's going to know that he can't stay in. And so I'm going to go into Thundurus and then click HP Ice, thinking that he might go to Gliscor. Came really close to just clicking Dark Pulse, but as you're going to see, I make the play, and he does not switch out, which is really bad for me, because he's going to actually reveal that he has not been choiced in any way, and he's going to be able to kill me with V-Create. So I'm not 100% sure what kind of item he is. I don't know if he's like Expert Belt or something like that. But now that he's gone for the V-Create and he's dropped his speed, I do outspeed with my Nidoqueen because I did put a little bit of speed onto it. And I do outspeed Victini at +1 if he's at -1. So I'm going to go for the rocks, and I'm going to hope that he switches out. But even if he doesn't, I'm very okay with stacking my Nidoqueen just to get up rocks. They're that important. And so I do go into the Nidoqueen, I click the rocks, and he actually stays in and is going to be able to get an easy KO on me with V-Create. It kind of makes me wonder if he's like Sugar Berry or something like that. Sugar Berry would be pretty decent for my Nidoqueen. Like I could have brought a Pyapa Berry Nidoqueen with a lot of defense investment to potentially take a hit from this thing. Or it could be for my Kyurem, whose best way to hit it is Earth Power. I could be packing like Shadow Claw or Shadow Ball as well. And Dragon Claw is going to do plenty of damage anyway. Excuse me. So I'm wondering if that was an item he had, but I won't find out in this game. I'm going to go into Kyurem now because I do threaten this thing. And I'm going to... He's going to go into Gliscor in the moment here. And here I guess I can just go ahead and reveal that that's what happens. I thought for a while about this play on what move I wanted to go for. I went for Fusion Bolt. Fusion Bolt was definitely going to kill a Victini from the range that it was at. Dragon Claw would have also killed, and Dragon Claw was a unresisted hit on his team. But if he wanted to go into Slowbro, I thought it was really important for me to catch that. And if he did want to go into Gliscor, I have ice moves that can Oko this thing. So it's not that big of a deal to me. And he does just reveal to be the normal Toxic Orb set. He's not packing Yachi Berry or anything like that. But even so on this next turn, I guess I have a couple of options. So I can just go for the Ice Beam and try and do as much damage to this thing as possible. But he's got some Ice Beam switch-ins, being Victini and Slowbro. And if he goes into Slowbro, I can't 2 a KO it with Bolt Strike plus Ice Beam. But I can 2 a KO with Sub-Zero Slammer plus Fusion Bolt. And if it's a non-invested Victini, my Sub-Zero Slammer will also kill. So it might seem like excessive to go for a Sub-Zero Slammer facing down a Gliscor. But it is what I choose to do as he doubles out into the Victini. And this is great. Takes the Rock's damage, and I am going to be able to knock it out. So that was fantastic. Victini was not a Pokemon I was dealing well with at that point. Pyukumuku, yes, it can take a fire hit, but Victini's got great electric coverage, and it's got grass coverage as well. Like, I was thinking about bringing a Conberry Pyukumuku. I ended up just going with leftovers, as you'll see in a few turns. But I thought that might be, like, even though his most likely coverage was going to be electric because it also hits the Empoleon, like, I just didn't want to waste a potential Wakanberry and then hit me up with an Energy Ball. And I'm like, well, that was pointless. So anyway, the Kyurem's looking really good versus his team right now. I 2-hit KO Slowbro, I Oko Thundurus, I Oko Gliscor, and depending upon the set of Altaria that he is, I should be able to Oko with Ice Beam. But like, Ice Beam Okos an uninvested Altaria with the amount of special attacking EVs rather, that I put into this thing. But he does go Slowbro, which is fine. And I'm just going to go for Fusion Bolt on this thing because it does about 51% min. I'm pretty sure. And we get like 54% roll, which is nice. And he goes for Reflect. Reflect is obviously a surprise. It's not something that you see on a lot of Slowbro sets. And I am expecting then the light screen to come right after this. But the hidden, in the what am I trying to say? Like, the hidden benefit of the Reflect here is that I can't even Oko, or I can't even take it out with the next Fusion Bolt. He'll be able to survive with like 5% HP. And so he's like basically guaranteed to get this next screen up. I didn't really think about that at the time, but I didn't really have another play. So it's not a big deal. I'm going to go into Pyukumuku. And after I made this play, I realized that this could have been potentially bad. So let me just talk about this for a second. So I didn't want to leave Kyurem in. I guess I could have. That might have been better, because he can't really Oko me with anything on his team except for a fully invested Altaria. But again, if he's fully invested, I do outspeed it, and I have Ice Beam to take it out. So I'm not that worried about it. But I wanted to go to Pyukumuku, I guess, because I have screens myself. And if he's got screens, I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to set up. And so the best way to protect myself from setup is to get up my own screens. And in the off chance that he decides to stay in with a slow bro for a little bit, maybe I can stall out some screen turns. So that was the thought process. In retrospect, I don't think it was the right play because I made myself very vulnerable here. Because obviously Pyukumuku has no ability to threaten any Pokemon ever. But in any case, this is where we're at. And he's going to, as soon as I'm done taking burn damage, switch out into his Thundurus. And this is really scary. I'm definitely wishing that I had gone for Light Screen there first. That was a big misplay on my end. Because even if he had gone into Altaria or Gliscor, there's not a way that they can really threaten me immediately. Like, sure, they could have been like setup variants, but I have ways to take care of the setup variants for the most part. And I could Toxic the Altaria at the least, so that would have been nice. But instead I go for Reflect, not a good play. He is going to go for the T-Bolt, and I'm not sure what the roll on this is, but we do survive with 4%, which allows us to get us that Light Screen, which is going to be really pivotal in just a moment here, as you guys will see. So he takes us out with the next T-Bolt, and Pyukumuku's going to go down. Very lucky that the Thundurus wound up not clicking any setup moves while the Pyukumuku was in front. But I can come with Kyurem here. My only play is to go for Ice Beam. I guess I could have gone for... Would Fusion Bolt have done more? I don't know. I'll have to calc that later. But it doesn't matter because he has the screens, and the screens make this Thundurus very hard to revenge kill. He is now going to go for the Nasty Plot. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't you go for that in front of the Pyukumuku? That might have been nice for you. Then he's going to go for a Z move. And I'm like, shoot, it's all out pummeling. But instead, it's Shattered Psyche. So it's coming off of Psychic, which makes a lot of sense. He has a Thunderbolt coverage, which does really well versus almost all of my team. And then Shattered Psyche is there to take out a Nidoqueen that has Assault Vest or Pyapa Berry or something like that. All of those are good counters to Thundurus. And then it also still does pretty tremendous damage to my Kyurem. I'm just pretty lucky that I have my screens up. Again, if 3 turns ago, if I hadn't been able to get up the Light Screen with my Pyukumuku, I might have been in trouble. But yeah, maybe he should have gone for Nasty Plot a little earlier, because maybe Shattered Psyche plus a Psychic would take me out. I don't think it would have, but it would have done a lot. So I was in a pretty fortunate position, or I guess I'll say I'm lucky that I wasn't in a worse position. Because now I can click Ice Beam here, and I can take out this Thundurus. I did find out after the game as well that he had Agility on that Thundurus too. So yeah, I could have easily lost right there. I got way lucky that he didn't click those moves in front of Pyukumuku. But, you know, we take those. Now, again, Kyurem's looking like a huge threat versus his team. Nothing outspeeds. And even though those screens are still there and they're still pesky, you know, we can still put in some work. And we do at least lose the Reflex on both sides. He's going to go into his Altaria, and he's going to take this Ice Beam. He takes it really well, 27%, and he goes for Agility. So what this reveals to me about the Altaria is that he's at least max HP and has a lot of special defense investment. I don't know that he's necessarily Calm Nature Altaria. He might just have like a little bit of investment, but it's possible that he's just a fully bulky Altaria and he has Agility. Agility is something that I expected, honestly, because it's a really good set versus Sableye, which I did not bring. Because, you know, Sableye can go for Will-O-Wisp on it and whatever, it doesn't really matter, because it's going to be hitting it with all special attacks. And then, you know, so that way you're not going for Dragon Dance and getting your attack stat neutered and things like that. So I'm not surprised that he brought Agility, but I am a little surprised that it's so bulky. Like, I should have done about 37% min, instead it did 27%. So anyway, the screens are going to die on this next turn. And with this Altaria in here, I'm like, shoot, if he's got Flamethrower, I'm pretty much toast. And because he's probably not modest, the Scolipede could take one. It could take a Flamethrower, but I don't really want to. And, you know, I'm in a tough position anyway, because without a +2 boost, I'm not going to be able to Oko the Gliscor. I really need +2 in order to do that. And if this Altaria has Flamethrower, I'm not going to have the opportunity to do that. And I'm pretty sure I need 2 speed boosts in order to outspeed Altaria. Or this is what I was thinking at the time. Like, I was expecting... I didn't do all these calcs until after the game. Given how little Ice Beam did, I should have known that this was a no-speed Altaria, and that it wouldn't take very much for Scolipede to outspeed. But as played, I'm going to take a big Hyper Voice to the face. And he could have even gone for agility again. That wouldn't have been a terrible play. And I bring in my Scolipede, and he goes for Cotton Guard. I'm like, oh crap, there's like no way I'm going to be able to break through this thing. But then I'm like, wait, so he has agility, Cotton Guard, Hyper Voice. What's his last move? Is it Flamethrower? Like, that's really the only way that he can hit Scolipede extremely hard. And we're actually going to outspeed here, and he's going to go for Roost. So, as I just mentioned a moment ago, I didn't really think in the match that I might be faster than this. At +1 Scolipede with my spread actually still outspeeds a modest Altaria, because modest Altaria hits 259, which hits 518 at +2, and my Scolipede spread hit over 530 speed at +1. And I EV'd that so that I could outspeed a max speed Thundurus. And so I should have known, and that would have been faster. But Swords Dance was still a decent play there, because I wasn't going to be able to kill the Altaria with that next Poison Jab. It had 26% HP left, and my previous Poison Jab did 23. So trying to get an attack boost was the way to go. And he does reveal that Roost, which means he cannot 2-KO me with Hyper Voice, given the fact that he is bulky. So now we're +2. We definitely outspeed this thing. I'm going to go for the P-Jab, does like 50%, and we get the poison, which is great. He's just going to go for Hyper Voice, does 40%, no problem. And now we're looking to be pretty good, because now we can kill the Altaria on the next turn. He's going to bring in the Gliscor. He's going to be at 76%, because this will be his second time switching into rocks. And assuming he's sort of like a standard Spadef Gliscor, this Aqua Tail that's at +2 is going to kill 100% of the time. So I'm going to go for that here. He's going to switch out into Slowbro and take that hit. I do miss, which is kind of unfortunate. He said in the chat, and I didn't realize this until afterwards, that he was scouting for Z Aqua Tail. Unfortunately for him, 1, I was Z move on Kyurem, and 2, we're only permitted 1 Z move Pokemon per team, and Kyurem is my Pokemon. So Scolipede doesn't have the access to Z Aqua Tail anyway. But it's kind of funny, like if I had missed that on the Gliscor, he could have gotten off a big hit with an EQ. I don't know if it would have killed or not. I'll have to calc that afterwards. But this Slowbro is now easily going to die to a Poison Jab, but I don't care if he switches back into Gliscor, just because I can just go for another Aqua Tail on that thing. And yeah, now it comes in at 63%, and this thing is even weaker, and it's going to be very easy to revenge. And Scolipede is going to pick up a nice 3 kills to finish off this game. Scolipede had an amazing matchup here. Again, I just needed the speed boost, and I was going to be all set. And sorry, I needed the Swords Dance boost, and I was going to be all set. So, well played, Napey, whoever you are. And I don't think I mentioned it, but he is the coach of the Brooklyn Banettes. And had a really fun battle versus him. We are going to be battling again in week 4. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Make sure you check out the channel for other gaming and Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.